host, Kyle Whissel.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. You are listening to Whissel Weekends here on AM 1170, The Answer. And you can also tune in if you are in North County, FM 96.1. My name is Kyle Whissel with Whissel Realty Group. Joined as always by Mr. Jason Hall, Team Home Loans. You got the whole new logo and everything, Jason.
You like that, huh?
So let's talk about this, right? If you've listened to the show for a long time, you know that Jason is the self-proclaimed Chargers homer.
San Diego homer.
Self-proclaimed Chargers
San Diego
homer. I've got
homer.
it on video and audio, you saying I'm a Chargers homer.
San Diego Charger.
I got it on video, Jason. So Jason's company colors for the longest time have been blue and gold.
Yeah, blue and gold for years.
For many, many, many years. Team Home Loans, part of Synergy One Lending, and it's been blue and gold. His cars have been blue, so he could put gold lightning bolts on his cars. I mean, it is... Every shirt he owned had a Chargers lightning bolt on it.
My house is a little blue with like a gold door.
Yes, house is blue with a gold door. I mean, this guy, the
My
epitome
son
of
is
a Chargers
named JJ
homer.
after John Jefferson.
Yes.
My
But you've changed
grandson
this.
at some
This has
point
changed.
was supposed to be named Charger.
Yeah. And I mean, here's the funny thing is now you're trying to hide your love for your Chargers. They're having their best season that they've had in a long time. They are actually a top 5 ranked team in the NFL right now. A lot of people
That's crazy.
Although Melvin Gordon just went down, but a lot of people are projecting that they may be a Super Bowl team this year. How do you feel about that?
It will be difficult, right? I love the players. Being a San Diego fanatic my whole life, born and raised here. My wife is a San Diego native. Of course, we have 2 adult children now, 26 and 27. We've all loved San Diego teams, and the Charger team was here for over 55 years, older than I am. And it is hard to see them have success, but I want the best for the players, but I just don't want the best for the ownership that yanked that team out of San Diego. And if we talked about it, they just yanked them out, didn't do it the way that I would have done it. Had I had to move them, I would have said, hey, we're going to be the Southern California Chargers, the Golden State Chargers, the California Chargers. I would have somehow kept San Diego as a part, but they thought they could just yank the team, move to L.A., and they would have millions of fans. And they're finding out, even winning, Kyle, they still don't get 50% of the fan base. There's still more visiting fans at every single game since they've moved there 2 seasons in a row. You and I were there for the Buffalo game, and Buffalo is probably the furthest team, to L.A. that could travel, and yet they still had more Buffalo fans, including you and your wife. So although your dad was dressed in his Charger blues, so for the players, I want them to win. But I think I'm going to be mixed. If they end up in the Super Bowl and we haven't been there since 1995, after the 94 season, I don't know what I'm going to do, Kyle. I really want the best for Rivers, for Melvin Gordon, for a lot of the players we've got there. But I also realize the ownership team has been cursed in my mind. And I just don't think there's any way they can make it.
Can you imagine if they go to the Super Bowl and they win and the parade route is empty? There's like a 2-mile parade route. And
now they'll
like...
pay people to be there just like they do now, But you're right, Todd.
It's L.A. There's plenty of extras in L.A.
Yeah, people
they'll have a
just
casting call.
Yeah, they'll show up. But that would be funny if they literally did a parade and nobody was there.
I love it. Again, you're listening to Whissel Weekends, AM 1170, The Answer. We're talking with the self-proclaimed Chargers homer, Mr. Jason Hall. So, Jason, when I'm looking at you right now, though, there's no blue and gold on. So you've changed everything.
I changed everything. We did it a while back and just finally got everything confirmed on our logo, got shirts printed up, switching business cards, some of the stuff happening. It takes us a little longer than I wanted to do, but I'm happy with the logo. And, being a San Diego supporter, I
So
was blue and
explain the
gold.
new logo. This is
But
radio.
now-
You got to describe it.
Now the logo is, black and, red, more after the Aztecs, right? And the Aztec logo, it's very similar to the Aztec logo. I had somebody put together. And, no, we're excited about it. My daughter did something on it about a year and a half ago, exactly when the Chargers left, almost 2 years ago now. And we took that, made some fine adjustments for the professional, which is always great to hire a great graphic designer to do that. Somebody in our LaTip group, and I've got one of our LaTip members in here today, Jeff Mudd, with me. But, she did a great job. I'm excited. And being the San Diego guy, you know me. It's always been Chargers, Charger, Aztec, Charger, Aztec. Now it's pretty much all Aztecs. You've seen me wearing nothing but Aztec shirts for the last 2 years. and now having the logo more wrapped around San Diego State. And I'm hoping San Diego State doesn't pick up and move to LA or anywhere else, Kyle.
I don't think so. Pretty sure they just got a new stadium approved.
Yeah,
so
that's a tough
I don't
one.
think they're going anywhere
Yeah,
anytime soon.
I think it's a safer bet.
I think they're going to get a new stadium.
I'm curious though, Jason. Do you have a mascot, Monty
Montezuma? No, but he
At
fist
your
pumped me.
client events, you
He
got to
fist
have
pumped
him
me
run
last night at
around.
the ball game, So, that would be fun to have him. But there's a couple different Monty guys.
guest appearance.
Guest appearance.
Yeah.
We've had, even at our New Year's Day party a couple years back, we had the Chargers there. We literally had 6 Charger players that came and bowled with us and had a blast.
They were quite fond of your daughter.
They were. You saw that. You heard about that. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't realize my daughter was older than some of those players.
Yeah.
Because Melvin Gordon
You
was
forget
there.
those guys are like 21,
Keenan
22.
Allen.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were like, 22, 23 at the time. My daughter was probably 24 at the time. I think it was 3 years ago. But interesting times. So what else we got going on here in the
So
world?
what else we got going on? There's a lot of people trying to come into San Diego right now.
Well, at least in the United States or California.
Oh,
So
and they're
you're
going to
talking
start
about-
in San Diego and then, maybe go out from there. So what's your take on this migrant thing? I mean, all these people traveled thousands of miles or hundreds of miles. I don't know how far they actually traveled, but they traveled for days and days to get to the United States. And originally the shortest path was going to be to go to Texas. But based on the knowledge that I have and have some friends that are maybe involved in some of this, the cartels in Texas made it very clear, do not come here. Because if you screw up what we've got going here, we will kill you.
Wow.
Because the cartels need these borders to be open so that they can move drugs back and forth across these borders. So the cartels made it abundantly clear to these people coming north, you're not coming through our town. You better find another way in.
So it's shifted. So it shifted this way.
Which is why they've shifted and
South and
have congregated around the Tijuana border now. And it's Tijuana. It's not Tijuana. I don't know where everybody gets this mythical A. They get
it's
it
kind
in
of like
Tijuana
Cowles
and
Mountain
Realtor.
and Coles Mountain and all that stuff.
People say realtor. Like, where did you get that extra letter between the L and the T? Like, where did that come from? It's Tijuana. That's what it is.
Tijuana.
Or you could say Tijuana, but not Tijuana. There's no A. It's not TIA. It's Tijuana.
Right.
So anyways, they're all congregating there. They all want to come here. They all want asylum. But now there are thousands of people that are congregating down there in Tijuana, but the U.S. is only able to process 100-ish cases per day. So
Right.
you've got thousands and thousands of people that want to come in here, but now they're all stuck there because there's so many of them and we can't process them. I mean, what's your take on this?
Well, we live in the greatest country, I believe, maybe ever of all time, but definitely currently in the world. And I believe we live in the greatest city in San Diego and one of the greatest states, although our taxes are kind of crazy and there's a couple crazy things we could talk about on that. But a lot of people want to come here. So the problem is if we just let everybody come here, we would no longer be the greatest country, right? If we just opened up and had no walls, no borders and said, hey, let's just take everybody, can you imagine the chaos we would, have? We just can't have that. So we still got to protect. We got to question. You can't just let everybody in. I'll never forget 9/11. There's lots of different things that go on, but you have to have people inspect. And I do feel for people. So being a man of faith, I do feel for families. I do feel for people in situations. And I think under certain circumstances, we may have to allow some people in. But can you imagine if we just said, yep, we're letting everybody in? Think what
like
would
Black
happen.
Friday.
It would be like, Black Friday at the mall. If you said, hey, we're giving away these $1,000 TVs for $10, can you imagine the chaos you would have at every Best Buy, Costco, whatever might happen, right? That's what would happen, I think, if you just said, hey, the United States is, we're so great and helpful to people. We're just going to let everybody in. I just don't think, as an agent, right, where are we going to put all these people? We don't have enough homes right now. And you own a lot of rental properties, Kyle. Like, it would be good for rents, I guess, but it would be chaotic. You would have multiple people. I remember in the growing up here in the late 70s, early 80s when all the Bolt people came over, and they literally lived 20 people to a 2-bedroom apartment, and they just walled them up because it was still so much better to live here than Vietnam and some of the areas they came from. And so it was crazy as a kid. I was going to junior high with some of these kids. They didn't speak the same language. That made it difficult getting along with these kids. I'd be riding my bike through the neighborhood, and they literally 10 to 20 people living in a 2-bedroom apartment. And it was just crazy in that area of Linda Vista, is where I grew up, went to, junior high, and I lived just on the outskirts, but I felt sorry for those kids, and they made it though. So the good news is they made it. And that's what some people will say on the other side. Hey, Jason, well, we got through, we made that. Right. And it's unique. So what's your take?
One of the things, just to touch on what you were talking about, is a lot of the business owners are people who've migrated to the United States. And I don't know if I can put my finger on the reason why, but I got so much respect for people that do that literally come from some other country in a bad situation and come here. And instead of just, working a minimum wage or under the table job, they opt to actually start a business, which is so freaking hard. I mean, a lot of us, we're all business owners here, right? And I mean, it's so hard to run and, start a business and to run a business and to last. The fact that a lot of people that are coming, I mean, I have so many friends, that have come from different parts of the Philippines and different parts of Asia that have migrated to the United States. And so many of them own businesses and are successful and happy. I mean, I think it's pretty amazing. So
it is amazing, but I would bet they all came over legally.
Yeah.
Right. They did the steps, and that's all.
I mean, these guys aren't trying to jump the walls.
There's some jumping the walls.
Some are,
and there's some trying to run through.
But the majority of them are seeking asylum, which is the proper way to do it. I mean, so who are we to argue with that? I mean, that's up to the government to decide if they can be granted that asylum or not. But it's definitely interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. So, guys, we're going to head to a quick break here on Whissel Weekends. When we get back, we're going to talk with Jeff Mudd, Best Rate Repair and Termite Company. You're listening to Whissel Weekends, AM 1170, The Answer.